In the aftermath of the Miami Grand Prix, it has been revealed that Max Verstappen's car suffered damage not once but twice. This has led many to wonder, did Lando Norris deserve the win? See for yourself. Max Verstappen almost bumped cars with his teammate Sergio Perez and later hit a bollard, causing damage to the floor of his car. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner commented that despite this, securing P2 was still considered a pretty good outcome. Horner mentioned that they discovered damage underneath Verstappen's car, with Verstappen noting a hole in the floor caused by hitting the bollard. Also, a scratch was spotted on his diffuser, possibly from his teammate Sergio Perez, who narrowly avoided colliding with Verstappen at Turn 1 during the race start. Verstappen's floor damage had huge consequences, leading to him finishing in P2. McLaren's Lando Norris capitalised on a pit stop opportunity under the safety car, maintaining his lead and eventually securing his first Formula One victory, while Verstappen struggled to keep up. Looking back on Verstappen's race, Horner told the media, "I don't think we had a great balance all weekend, and then obviously he hit the bollard around lap 20 and that's actually done quite a bit of damage to the underside of the car. We'll have to look at exactly what the effect of that was, but he had enough pace at that point. He was pulling clear of Oscar behind and Lando before picking up that damage. And thereafter we then pitted and the safety car came out at the best time for Lando, gave him essentially a free stop. But obviously not great for us, because then you're on 5, 6 laps, 7 laps older tyres, and with the damage I think second place was actually still a pretty decent result. So I think we have to congratulate Lando on his first victory. It's always a big moment for any Grand Prix driver to win their first race, so congrats to him and to McLaren. But we've still managed to score the most points in the Drivers' Championship this weekend with a sprint race yesterday, and it's the most in the Constructors as well. So it's still been a very strong weekend. When pressed for more details on Verstappen's floor damage, Horner said, "It's a reasonable amount through the area around the left rear floor. There's a reasonable amount that's missing, and you can see it's all been flexing as well. So it certainly wouldn't be helping." Verstappen barely avoided race-ending damage at the first turn thanks to Perez's close call, although the discovery of the diffuser scratch later suggested the incident might have been closer than initially thought. Horner was relieved that both Red Bulls safely navigated through that critical first turn, saying, "Charles Leclerc didn't have a great start ahead, and I think that caused Checo. He had to lift for Charles, and then he left him a window into the first corner. He went for it and then obviously got in very deep and was lucky not to collect Max at the first turn and then collect the Ferrari coming back onto the track after the first turn. I was pleased to see both cars survive that." Sergio Perez admitted that he nearly collided with his teammate Max Verstappen during his attempt to dive down the inside of Turn 1 at the start. He mentioned that he didn't realise the track had such low grip at that spot. After the race, Perez said, "As soon as I dived in the inside of Charles Leclerc, I could see that as soon as I hit the brakes, there was no grip at all. Like we saw yesterday with Lewis, offline here, especially in the Turn 1, there is zero grip down there. In hindsight, if I knew there was no grip on the inside, I wouldn't have gone there in the first place. I went there because I thought it was going to be safe. But as soon as I hit the brakes, I could see that the car wouldn't stop. I ended up front locking and I went straight. That meant basically that I nearly took Max out, so I had to release the brake to release the front locking." Horner was asked if he believed Norris had the pace to win the race without the advantage of the safety car. He responded that it was a question he couldn't answer definitively, but hinted that overtaking would likely have been challenging for Norris had he made a pit stop under normal race conditions. "I think what we saw today was it was very difficult to come through the traffic, and who knows? That's something that we won't be able to answer," said Horner, because there wasn't a huge amount of overtaking in the race, certainly in the top 10. So it would have all depended where he came out after his pit stop, which would have probably been 3rd or 4th. Max Verstappen declined to engage in a debate about whether the safety car contributed to Lando Norris's win in Miami, noting that focusing on if scenarios doesn't change the outcome. Norris achieved a huge victory, becoming only the second non-Red Bull driver since 2022 to win a Grand Prix, holding off Verstappen after a safety car restart in Miami. As his rivals completed their pit stops, Norris was leading the race and benefited from a free stop when Kevin Magnussen's incident forced Logan Sargent to retire. Norris entered the pits from P1 and emerged still in P1. He took the restart ahead of Verstappen, who tried to attack into Turn 1 but was unsuccessful. From there, Norris pulled away to win by 7 seconds. When asked if the free pit stop aided Norris in his win, Verstappen replied, "I mean, it's always if, right? If my mum had balls, she would be my dad, so yeah, I mean, it's how it goes to racing. Sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't." Verstappen commented on his incident with Perez, saying they were fortunate, that it only resulted in a mark on his diffuser as it could have been much worse and led to disaster. "I was very aware. I mean, I turned in and I saw him lock up. I looked after the race, there was like a scratch on my diffuser. So something must have hit. But yeah, it was very close, could have ended in a disaster, of course, for the team as well. So, yeah, lucky." And when talking about the bollard he took out at turn 15, Verstappen joked, saying, "I didn't like it, so I decided to take it out and test the durability of the front wing as well. So that's a crash test done. Yeah, there was no damage. The cone was out of the way for everyone, so it was basically a free-for-all after that." As Adrian Newey is no longer involved in the F1 project at Red Bull, the team has initiated steps to limit his access to information. Newey, who has been with Red Bull for 19 years, will officially depart from the team in the first quarter of 2025, currently serving his notice period with the Milton Keynes-based squad. Even though Adrian Newey has commenced his F1 gardening leave, he was present in Miami last weekend. Red Bull team boss Christian Horner elaborated on how the team has started limiting Newey's access to information during this transitional period. Amidst various rumours about Adrian Newey's next steps after leaving Red Bull by mid-2025, Christian Horner confirmed that Newey no longer has access to data and is no longer part of any technical briefings within the team. Referring to the Red Bull-developed hypercar, which is Adrian Newey's brainchild, and the department he has been assigned to until his contract concludes, Christian Horner said this after the Miami Grand Prix. "Adrian's focus is very much now on the RB17. He's not sat in any briefings over the weekend other than the race strategy. He has no access to any data, he's not drawing parts, and his focus is now on RB17 until the end of his notice. He'll be at some races between now and the end of the year, primarily where we have RB17 customers." When asked about his concerns regarding Adrian Newey joining another team, Christian Horner stated that Red Bull has no involvement or input in Newey's decision regarding his next move. "I think Adrian is going to take some time away from Formula One, and at 65 you can't blame him. I think he's earned that right. He's earned the right to take some time out. So what he chooses to do after that, it will be his choice." So, after learning about the damages on Max Verstappen's car, do you think Lando Norris's win was earned or given? Tell us in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.